And what a lovely way to recognise that with not a moment's silence, but the opposite.
Luke Ramos is the man in charge with the whistle today. Big responsibility for this big encounter between some big boys. This is all about getting points. As you can see, a lot of rain falling down in Toulouse. And here we go with Union Bordeaux Begles. Kicking the ball up into the hands of that man, Jack Willis. Just extended his contract with Toulouse. He'll be staying down in the Pink City for another couple of seasons. And it's the first time that he comes up against his brother Tom Willis. He'll be heading back to England at the end of the current season after the final game. And they're hoping that it will be 5 more games, not just 2. Ben Tomifuna, we know what he can do. Human juggernaut. Drives through Cyril Bay. Luku. Box kick over the top on the edge of the 22. Perfectly positioned. That's nicely taken there by Romain Tamac. I think there's going to be a lot of kicking with the weather and the conditions like this. I do expect both teams to play the territory game.
We know that man can, don't we? Antoine Dupont. And that's a good kick, perfectly weighted.
A good strong tackle there from Retier. Is that man, Jefferson Poirot. Luku again. Big kick from inside of his own half. Mark's been made. Thomas Ramos, of course, will get a little bit more game time since the injury that was picked up by Melvin Jaminet. Very frustrating for the former Perpignan fullback. Ligament damage around his ankle, which means that he'll be battling to try and get himself fit for the Rugby World Cup, which kicks off in September. And it doesn't just open up with a small encounter, does it?
No, it doesn't ease its way in, does it?
Little affair between France and New Zealand at the Stade de France. There he is, Gabriel Ogre. Mufama. Luku. All stabbed down into the 22. Picked up, and there's Ramos with his reaction. It's not a bad kick. And quickly taken, intelligently done, Santi Cordero, and I'm afraid that there was a player in an offside position. Willis it was, so we'll go back and they'll get possession back and a chance to try and kick for the sticks or kick for the corner.
Well, I like that from Bordeaux. It shows good intent, and it makes sure that Toulouse knows they can't relax. Yes, there's going to be a lot of kicking tonight, as you said, Robbie, and particularly when these kickers get it right in terms of the distance, they'll be able to put a lot of pressure on. But it means if you don't get it right, there will be counter-attacking opportunities. And Bordeaux very quick to identify there might have been a little space there to have a go. So like I say, balancing out the kicking game with still having a bit of a crack, having a bit of a counter-attack is going to be important.
Louis Biel-Biarré, the player who's down, just getting a bit of treatment. Maxime Luku just knows how important kicking from the tee is. It's not just about kicking out of the hands, it's also kicking from the tee. They'll have discussed the Mathieu Jalabert. And that kick is very good from Luku at the other end from the drone shot, of course. And first points go up onto the scoreboard as we watch that man Jalabert. Yeah, they'll have discussed that. They'll have said, you know, okay, how do we move on from this? He took responsibility. He talked about it during the week. He said, we should have won the reverse fixture. We dominated Toulouse physically, and it was my responsibility. I didn't deliver. My kicking was off. Oh, there's a poor attempt to try and clear the ball, picked up by Dupont. Chucks it out into the hands of Retier. He gets fed to the big boys. Richie Arnold this time. Ben Tomifuna, look at that. He was straight in. That is sublime. How quick was he? He was in like a missile.
Well, it was really smart play from Ben Tameifuna. He's already had a really good touch. That first run that he had was blockbusting, but what he did there was he had a couple of pumps at the ball. Rather than just getting over the top and clamping down on it, he made sure the ref was aware he was at least seeming to want the ball and try and get it. And, I mean, he wanted the penalty. That was ideal. So well done. And Toulouse, that's what great teams do. As soon as they concede points, they get straight back on attack if they can. But there's Tameifuna getting right over Richie Arnold.
Orgo with the line out. Kane Douglas goes up, and that's really well battled between the Australians. And but it's Richie Arnold who gets the touch to it. Peter Aki, watch out for Aki. He sucks in the defenders, and then, of course, you know, he just either passes the ball out or goes himself. Ghosts between defenders. That's good work at the...
Yeah, that was Tom Willis. Just kept on having a go once the ruck had been formed. He had been contacted by a Toulouse support player, so he didn't have rights on the ball. Kept pushing it a little bit, which they do have to do. Again, I don't mind that. It means Toulouse knows that they're in for a battle at the breakdown, and they know they can't just get away with committing one clean-out player, that they've got to get a couple. But there's that win by Richie Arnold against the throw. Little moments like that, little turnovers will be very important throughout the match.
Well, that was the moments that Peter Aki went down. You know, he wasn't far off in actually achieving his goal and not having a whistle blown against him. But in any case, as you said, it's a warning sign, isn't it? Nicely dealt with by that man, Richie Arnold, once again. Marchand at the back comes back into the team, just like Arthur Retier. He's been out for a while as well with an injury. Julien Marchand. Antoine Dupont gets held up. And the hooker Og doing really well to make sure that Dupont doesn't go places. Richie Arnold, Rumat picks it up. No, he doesn't. He gets the ball into the Australian Mirfu. Another absolutely colossal player in that engine room. Willis takes it forward. And the Union Bordeaux Begles defence scrambling to try and deal and put out the Toulouse fire. Rumat, little spin. And there was a little bit of spillage. So... No, just it was a support player coming off his feet, but they got a penalty. Just got to roll out of the tackle zone there.
Well, Ben Tameifuna was very, very quickly onto that ball again in the next phase. Now, people might be sitting at home saying, why is it a penalty when it maybe didn't look too deliberate from the tackle player to get out of the way? Well, it might not have been deliberate. It still affected Toulouse's quality of possession.
Alzagheri and Marchand go on a two-man drive. It's been picked up. Dupont around the outside. Mirfu, watch out. When he crashes over, he takes everybody with him. Has he managed to ground it? No is the answer to that. Dupont at the back of that collapsed ruck. And he's trying to dig for the ball. More support players. Cyril Bay on the one side. He picks it up. Cyril Bay goes burrowing through the thickets, and that has been grounded. Mirfu finally finds the ground. Oh, dots over the right side of the paint, and that is a big score and an important score there for Mirfu, who celebrates with his Toulouse teammates. They take their first blood. It's 5 points to 3.
A relentless bludgeoning from the Toulouse forward pack there. They swapped directions a couple of times, trying to catch the Bordeaux defence off guard. This is from the set tap penalty move. They quickly switched it here. It was Miafu straight away who went so close. They kept their composure. They kept their patience, Toulouse. And eventually when it came back round after a couple of phases, the same man this time gets over. A bit of a twist to help him do so. But a good initial thrust from the Toulouse forward pack. Their first opportunity to score, and they take it.
Another player who's hoping to represent France at one point. Absolutely thrilled to be in Toulouse. He's come through the echelons right to the very top. Such an important component within the Toulouse team as they go in search of their 22nd Brennus Shield this season. Ramos doesn't have an issue from that distance, and they get their first full 7.
All hands to the pump on the clean out, including Santiago Chocobares, who was in there as well. The backs coming in. They knew what the forwards were going to do. There wasn't much chance. It was getting spread wide.
As long as they remain disciplined up there and they don't make mistakes when they're carrying the ball, you know, there's not many teams that can actually stop them from 5 meters out. So talented, relentless hitting, as you said, the bludgeoning. And Dupont will clear that from inside of his own 22. Big thumping kick down deep into Union Bordeaux Begles territory. And not a chance to take a quick line out.
A really good kick from Antoine Dupont. He found himself with a good angle. They were quite central right from when they first took that kick off. They moved it infield, and as a result, he just had plenty of angle to work with. Two Australians, of course, up against one another in the line out. There they are, Kane Douglas and Richie Arnold.
Bit of a height advantage for Richie Arnold. Crikey, I mean, he has just been outstanding in the line-out. He really, and all of the line-out wins when it's not his team's ball is obviously some element of the game where they really focus on, because, I mean, he really does leap up into the air and gets in the way and tangles up and forces his opposite numbers to make mistakes.
Yeah, and he's already got one of those, and it was an important one too. Bordeaux had just scored, just got out of their own 22, had the line-out and went to the front. I guess they think the danger is lobbing a back ball that Richie Arnold can use his height even more so, but he read it and picked it and went forward, and it was a really good steal.
Well, you've got to be careful. I mean, you know, the fact is that they've got two really good players in the line at Toulouse. Alexander Roumat, in his first season playing for Toulouse, has been substantially used. When Richie Arnold's on the pitch, we know that he'll logically take the line out, but I mean, you've got options there, haven't you? Even Mirfou can take a decent line out, but probably not as agile and as in the air as Richie Arnold and Roumat, but still a very strong back rower, second rower. Well, they play it a little bit safer on that occasion, and it's dealt with very well. Ogre gets the nod from Luku, and Luku sends it high up into the air. Just outside of the 22, no mark made. Watch out for Ramos, he's so dangerous. He just manages to, well, pretty scrappy there, taken very quickly. Dupont at his best, that's what he does. He's been flanked in a big way by Santi Cordero, did really well. The ball does come out, and Tomac flicks it up into the hands of Marchand. Willis back to Arnold. Arnold, this is fantastic stuff, playing a little bit of basketball now, and the ball picked up by Peter Aki. He swats away Bielbiaré, and Dupont goes again, this time Willis. And it looks like that it was Francois Crowe just coming off his feet and just crashing over, taken quickly, fast and furious, the way that we like it, mates.
Yes, I'm just not sure it's going to play in Bordeaux's favour, because Toulouse is used to playing this sort of rugby, and they're having a go from everywhere, just belying the conditions at the moment.
Such a dangerous player as well, Mathis Lebel, 5 caps with Les Bleus, and keen to get many more in a career that's expected to be very long. There's Dupont, it's not a long kick, swills up in the air, and that's been, it looks like Willis has got his hands on it. Well, that is pretty impressive, and Dupont kicks it over the top, takes a welcome bounce and picked up there by Ducoin, who smashes it up into the 22. Ducoin. Here's Garcia on that left foot of his. Goes high. And there's a chase coming up, and that's beautifully done. We know what Intermac does. Sumptuous take from the big long kick. Marchand playing scrum half, Mirfou getting the ball out. Oh, there's a little bit of a butterfingers, and a nice little kick there from Garcia. The chase is on, a scramble back, but of course this man, Dupont, he needs to be dealt with. He's done really well, Garcia, and Retier doesn't get a great kick. It takes a hit back from Luku, but it's an offside position, hence the from Mirfou and Moafana, and that's the reason why they get possession back. So unlucky.
Yeah, it was nice to see Bordeaux get out of that, because I think Toulouse had just had the rub of the green a couple of times. I thought there was a knock-on in the previous sequence of play, and then the feeling Intermac was borderline offside on the kick from Ramos. He did incredibly well to climb up and get that Romain Intermac, but Bordeaux finally pouncing and getting down the Toulouse end. They've got a chance to get out of there, and there's been some very good kicking so far.
Just an unfortunate situation. Look at that from Romain Intermac. He makes a mockery of Maxime Lucu on that occasion. And that doesn't happen very often, that Peter Aki does. He has a bit of butterfingers, but just look at this. Look at that kick. There's a big hit coming in there to take out Retier. Richie Arnold, 14 minutes in, 7-3 for Toulouse. Marchand meets Bento Mifuna, bringing the big French hooker down. And Kane Douglas getting knocked off his feet.
A little bit of clean-out practice from both teams. Obviously feel they need to hone it a bit every opportunity. Still going. The backs are in there. Ramos is in there cleaning out.
Just trying to keep an eye and see if there was anyone keeping the Willis brothers apart, but they were okay.
Well, that was a great hit from Bento Mifuna that started that, but perhaps a little bit too much aggression. There it is there. A little bit too much adrenaline. There's the clean out. Oh, yeah, that was Kane Douglas. That was clumsy. He's gone low. He hasn't really got his arms out there. He's just come in like a missile. Probably 2 or 3 things there he could be accused of. Toulouse inquiring as to whether they might go to a video replay and check out the danger to someone's knee as Kane Douglas came flying in from high to low.
Just a warning, I think, from Luke Ramos. I mean, it's been such an energized first 14 minutes from both teams. I want this level to stay like that, you know. If no one was hurt and it wasn't blatantly, you know, a head-on collision of any kind. He kind of just went through the ruck, didn't he? But it looked dangerous. And if it had made contact, it would have been a different scenario. But it didn't look like there was much contact. But in any case, it fired up a few bellies in there.
Absolutely, and that is the danger, though. You get those frustrations boiling over a little bit in an incident like that. You know, if there are too many of them, then it does turn into something a bit more nasty, and people do go. But that frees up space on the field too if we're both teams down a couple of players.
You're always looking at those scenarios, aren't you? As a back, you know, you're always looking at like sort of, where can we find that extra bit of space? Well, there you go.
Well, I was never running the risk of getting sent off myself. So.
Right. Such a saint on the field, weren't you, mate?
Couldn't afford to be otherwise.
Here we go, Lucu and his Union Bordeaux Begles who go attacking. Mofana trying to find his way through. It's a great tackle there, brought down by Choco Barris, the Argentinian. Lucu goes again. Jefferson Poirot, Kane Douglas, this time with the ball in hands, going through the thicket. Big charge this time, again from Ugg. Back around the other way. Garcia does well. This is better. This is nicely done around the outside. Good charging from Pierre Boucheton. Boucheton, and this is excellent running. Surely they're going to finish it off with a try. And look at that. Louis Biel-Biarré, the support play. It's his 4th try this season. And the 20-year-old outstanding finish. The support play down that right flank. The passing, absolutely top-notch. And Union Bordeaux Begles get a try back and they move ahead.
Well, that's a scintillating try from Bordeaux. They have out-Touloused Toulouse. The important moment here, I think it was Garcia who was looking to put the kick in. He got the communication from the outside. He picked off one defender. Still the lead up here. That was the pass before. A bit of a hurl from left to right from Jean-Baptiste Dubier, but it didn't matter. The looming figure on the outside of Boucheton, who sends it inside. Great support play from Bordeaux.
And the extras are good as well, and they move ahead once again. It's 7-10. Look at this. Duquin getting the ball out to Pierre Boucheton, the 22-year-old. He runs the perfect line, but look at the support players off his left and right shoulders.
And I think it was Biel-Biarré who drew the man to send it to the outside, and he did that perfectly, just enough to stop up the defender, and then he stayed in support.
Well, that's how to deal with the that's how to confuse the Toulouse back line. Lebel and Choco Barres just getting caught out with that wonderful run from Boucheton. Big unit as well from Bressan down in the Ain region of eastern France, just in the foothills of the French Alps. It's a nice part of the world, especially if you like your fly fishing. Union Bordeaux Begles making it safe and looking to try and get rid of this. Luku kicks it very high, and it's taken up into enemy territory. Ramos, player down on the ground. There's an accidental bit of collision, I think, as one of the Toulousain players walks back to his side of the pitch. I think it's Aldegheri. Willis, Dupont, coming up quickly. They come up very quickly on that man in Tamac, and they win it again. This is fantastic play. Bielbiaré, the inside pass to Coin. He's got a lot of zip about him. Good charge, good running there, coming from this time Mofana. Bentumefuna, the hands. Oh my word, the hands, fantastic. Bielbiaré didn't, just came off his skates on that occasion. And afterwards, well, it was a done deal.
Yeah. Good play from Bordeaux, but they'll see it as a wasted opportunity. There's Ogre, who made the first surge on defence, as again the ball doesn't go out from Toulouse.
Bitaraki. Runs into a couple of big boys. There's Cyril Cazot. Actually got serenaded by France by Toulouse back in 2022. Decided to stay at UBB. Originally from Dax, French international as well, with 4 caps. As Dupont clears the ball.
With his left too, no hesitation. Antoine Dupont onto the left foot. Really good pressure as the quick kick from Thomas Ramos. Nowhere near touch.
Van Sinclair up in the stands, watches on. He scored a few fine tries in his time. Mertz, you must have played against him a couple of times.
Oh, I don't know if he's that old, is he? Maybe in his early years. Also, of course, it won't be much of a favourite for Welsh fans. It was the tackle on Van Sinclair that ended up putting Sam Warburton off in that semi-final in 2011.
Yeah.
But there you see the problem that Bordeaux has when Richie Arnold and one other, Rumart normally, can get thrown up in the front and the middle of the line-out. It really makes Bordeaux try to go long, and that's fraught with danger on a night like this where the ball's slippery, getting the accuracy, and you're either going to overthrow it or it doesn't go straight like we've just seen. So a real challenge in the line-outs for Bordeaux. We've seen them, they've been conceding the ball to Toulouse. They're not even competing against Richie Arnold. They just want to try and put pressure on by driving if they can, but on their own ball, it's tough.
7-10, bit of treatment. Player that they would have liked to have been playing out here today for Union Bordeaux Begles, Zach Holmes, here, the former Toulousain. Spent a few years since he joined from La Rochelle down on the banks of the Garonne. Now switched his allegiance and playing his second season for Union Bordeaux Begles. Just out injured at the moment, but he's a wonderful player. He really is, and he's really found his niche in the top 14 and spent a good period of time playing for the top teams.
Yes, and it's a sport, rugby, where often, rather than, say, perhaps in football, where you really take your life in your hands going back to play your old club, but you can often be really well appreciated going back to play in front of what's now a hostile crowd, nominally, but your old home crowd. So Toulouse, I'm sure, would have welcomed him.
And here they go again. This is a charge from Choco Barres. Rumat with an old school scrum half flinging pass. And look at that, good defensive play. The ball comes into the hands of Lebel. Their defensive game is very, very fierce, isn't it, from UBB? They really aren't taking anything. They're being consistent and they're hitting hard. Well, he's got his hands on that, and that wasn't, well, it will be deemed as being illegal finally from Duby.
It's a fairly grey area, that one there. Firstly, you can't pull the halfback into the ruck. Not that they did that, but halfback is a little bit sacred at the back, has certain rights that maybe others don't in general play. They've dived through there. Dupong's got control of the ball, and there's contact from Bordeaux, but there's also a body of thought that says Dupong's in control of that ball. It's his responsibility until he passes it.
Yeah, no,
and then the deliberate knock-on comes into play. But that situation there, it's a little bit grey in rugby.
I would have liked him to actually got his other hand on the ball and sort of, gone and had a real battle as he tried to, take it out. That would have been a lot more interesting. Line out, botched. Og picks it up. He's a very strong hooker, isn't he? The English number 2. Luku. Bento Mifuna. Intelligently just goes around Richie Arnold and then finds his line, gets over the gain line. Here's Luku, he was under a lot of pressure to get rid of that, didn't have much protection. Picked up, and here's Retier, very dangerous player, but he's been snagged in a big way. Santi Cordero doing a sterling job. Rumat smashed, big time hit there from Cyril Cazzo. He's running out of options, but he decides to just straighten up the Argentinian centre. And he's under pressure now. As I said, this defence fiercely hitting hard, but I think that they've been penalised. Let's see what happened here. Did you catch anything?
Kane Douglas is trying to catch something, isn't he? Got to be careful what he wishes for, although he's a big bloke with a good reach.
There's a few of them on the pitch tonight.
Bordeaux,
Ramos, sorry.
The Bordeaux line-out just made a mockery. I said they weren't competing. Well, they've gone up at that last line-out and competed, and they reaped the rewards too, because Toulouse overthrowing, putting the pressure on Dupont, piling through. It takes a little more time, obviously, in the wet to control the ball. So the defence has now worked out. We can actually fly up, fly out a line, expect that the defensive line behind us will cover up the hole, but one player can really get through and put pressure on, and they're trying to do it, obviously, to put this man off his game.
He's been rattled a little bit, but when he gets rattled, we know that he produces the goods directly afterwards. They're just setting the scrum a little bit too early, and Mr. Ramos not happy with the timing of the front row going in. Just got to get it right, and they put themselves under a little bit of pressure here because they called another scrum Toulouse, and they'll try and work their magic because with the likes of Bay and Aldeguerri, Marchand, you've really got 3. Top-notch French international front rowers. On the other side, you also do Poirot, is a former France captain, of course, and then you got Tomifuna, who wins scrums, as a hobby.
I haven't been keeping count. Obviously, not my favourite part of the game, but is this only the second scrum, and we don't even complete that? It's despite the handling errors, they've normally played on and been able to counter-attack. So, not a lot of work so far in that facet for the front rowers.
Calling it Super Rugby soon. Super Rugby. Intemak picks the ball up. He'll try and drill that into the corner. And then we'll see what happens with their line out that comes from this. The last one was botched. It went right over the top. Poirot just collapses underneath Aldeguerri. Now Marshall, here he is. First match back since the 2nd of April. Obviously that's been quite a while. Richie Arnold does extremely well. The pack form the Centurion formation. Here they go. And Dupont. And that's not going anywhere. That's great work, isn't it? They kind of didn't collapse, but they did, and it was a slow-moving
It was.
Ball that just like came down.
Well, we saw Dupont going in a couple of times to try and get the ball out, and then it was Tom Willis, I think, who burrowed his way through furtively. And eventually there you see Dupont trying to get it out, but underneath there, keeping his feet, now with his head right in the danger zone on the Toulouse side, was Tom Willis. Good defensive effort.
It's like slow-moving lava, wasn't it? Finally comes to a standstill, and the whistle's been blown. Mr. Ramos wants to give the ball back to UBB. There's Fred Charrier, Julien Lerle. They're the two guys who came in to replace Christophe Urios, who lost his position, ejected from the club, who's now rebounded up in the Auvergne with Clermont. Came off the back of a fine victory against Stade Francais yesterday, 32-16. They'll take some positives from that, despite a very mediocre season. But they've done really well. That was mid-November when Urios was lost his position and the guys came in. They battled valiantly to get themselves up and into the top six. This comes off the back. Willis under a lot of pressure. It's his brother who's giving him a hard time as well. And that, has it been made safe? It looks like it's been made safe. Desperate measures in a desperate part of the pitch with Luku smashing it away. That's a good kick as well. Takes the ball, I thought it was a little bit longer than that, just outside of the 22.
Well, I do not know how Bordeaux managed to salvage this situation. Tom Willis had to get that ball out of there because they were about to concede a penalty or possession, because that scrum was powerful from Toulouse, and Willis did really well, but how they managed to get back and support him, I do not know. They're not out of danger yet, Bordeaux, but they're fighting hard.
Marchand goes over the top once again. Og picks it up. That's really nicely positioned. Does well to keep the ball in possession. Here's Luku. They're in the 22, and Garcia puts it, outside the 22. Garcia sticks it right up the middle. Get rid of it. Play that territory game. Ramos returns the favor with a fine effort that takes it up into, just creeping into the UBB half. It's the big game of chess that's taking place here.
Yeah, Bordeaux would be reasonably happy with that, although this is the most difficult part of the game at the moment, the line out, retaining your own possession. But they're slowly inching up the field. They've just been down in their 22, very close to getting cracked down there, but they've managed to come out of it.
Okay, nicely taken by Boucheton, and spillage. Ball gets knocked forward there. Boucheton unable to keep it in his hands. Just as, you know, there's that little fragile moment from when the ball's caught and they're just trying to set it up. You've got to make sure that you've got the right players in the right position. Player coming down, feeding it to the right player so they keep it protected, and you know, the rest is, it's all about the forwards and how they move. The Toulouse means of doing that. They all come piling across. Everybody knows their different position.
Yeah, there's so much going on, isn't there? And so much coordination required. And of course, straight away with one of your biggest men being taken out because he's got to win the ball, he comes down, he's standing up tall. You can't use him in the maul, so you're a man short, really.
It's true, and he's exposed, of course. Caleb Timmer, we haven't really seen too much of him, the former Queensland Reds player, former Montpellier player. We're expecting a bit more from him. Well, that's a penalty for Toulouse. And Dupont picks it up. Watch out, the jagged, staggered running there from Antoine Dupont. No, he can't. This is just remarkable running from Dupont, the French international. Ball comes out, and that has somehow fallen into the hands of Intermac. Driven forward there, the Toulouse steamrolling now. Dupont gets hit, but Ramos gets it out. Ramos, Roumat in the corner, and there's your try. Well, full of venom and full of bite. Toulouse crash over in the corner, but Antoine Dupont standing out from the crowd. Incroyable.
Yes, he was central to everything there, Antoine Dupont, but it started up front with that immense pressure exerted by the Toulouse scrum. Away he went and the back line opposite him was in disarray as they struggled to recover. And then look at this now. He trots back on the inside and really puts his head down. The wet track helps a little bit, and a nice little delay there from Ramos at the end to just thread that ball through the gap. There it is, doesn't go. Kane Douglas came up out of line, trying desperately to save the situation. Couldn't be done.
No celebration from Alexandre Roumat, of course. This is his first season since he joined from Union Bordeaux Begles, where he played for 5 seasons. There he is, and his 4th try this season for Toulouse against his former team. And this tit-for-tat scenario continues with Ramos looking to try and offer Toulouse a 4-point lead with just over 8 minutes to go in the first half. And just comes in off the post. 4-point lead they have, 14-10 for Toulouse.
Another one to do well on that move was Romain Ntamack. That could have broken down after the break from this man here. As Dupont slides in, somebody's got to get in and play halfback. I didn't see who it was, but out it comes. And Ntamack caught 2 tacklers at the same time as the ball, managed to hold on to possession.
They look, Toulouse, Willis nearly taken out and chucked over the paint. Toulouse have a tendency of playing some great structured rugby and non-structured possessions, and that's what makes them so effective. So many teams are unable to create something, but I think that they train and they work on those situations where, you know, it's so chaotic, but there's always players in the right position. Well, it's there for the taking, and it's anybody's ball, but not according. Well, there's a little knock on, and Willis could have taken that, I think, and the ball was considered to be out.
Bordeaux's got to keep attacking. As you said, Robbie, they've got a good mix of structure and unstructured, the Toulouse team. They play, they want to play, and so while they can run up points against you pretty easily, you've got to go in with the attitude that you can play because you're going to get opportunities as well. They don't have a bad defence, but because they're always looking to find space and move the ball, when they cough up possession, there are opportunities against Toulouse, so you've got to keep playing. Yes, you might concede points, but hopefully you'll score enough, and maybe you might just score a little bit more. They don't often lose at home.
Especially when they've got all of their players available and there's no internationals taking place. No, but I think that that's exactly that. But that first try was scored from that scenario, from that situation. The Biel-Biarré try.
Oh, look, even 10, 12 years ago, it was the same sort of thing. I remember going down there with Racing, and we had a really good game. I think we scored between 25 and 30 points. It's just they scored a heck of a lot more. Carved up by the likes of Clément Poitrenaud and Maxime Médard, those sort of guys. But you do have to, you've got to go on with a positive attitude against them, I think. And it seems like Bordeaux really is tonight.
Well, Toulouse have that tendency of just... you know, because of you can't look at Toulouse of what they've achieved and how great they are and all the rest of it. You just got to see it as a team that you're going to go against, and you can see they've got lots of talent, but you've also got to look at what you've got. If you don't look at what you've got, then you're basically going there to lose. Toulouse. Hey, here we go, little kick through, and Biel-Biarré, he's going to pick it up again. Is there any support play? He needs to find some help. Look who arrives. They're trying to get him out of there. His ball's been made available, but you've got to release the tackle player. That's brilliant play. Look at that. Caleb Tamu's gone over. Surely that's going to be a try. Amazing improvisation from Caleb Tamu. And that is a top quality try. Smart thinking. And from the Australian international. And they move ahead 15 points to 14. But look at that. Biel-Biarré, what a weapon he is for UBB.
Yes, there was a little bit of everything in that try. We haven't seen too much of this man, unfortunately, with ball in hand. It's a great little kick through from Ducoing, a good chase from Biel-Biarré. You wouldn't exactly call that the cavalry arriving in the form of one clean out being Maxime Luku, but away goes Caleb Tamu, big and strong, kept his feet, kept the drive going, over.
His knees are on the ground. You've got to release him. That was too late. That's what they're talking about. But he's got his flag up as well. So
but it doesn't change the penalty, however.
I totally agree.
I thought the crowd was thinking maybe that. Well, they're trying to get that reviewed. It'll be futile anyway because it doesn't change the fact there was a penalty for not releasing the tackled player. They may not have seen Timu's quick tap. Certainly given some voice.
Luku just straightens up, and that's a fantastic kick. That really is. How about that for a first half? We've got some trials and tribulations taking place down here on the banks of the Garonne. The explanation is pretty clear. We saw it. Look, okay, he's up on his feet. Okay, his knee's on the ground there. You've got to let it go of him now. The linesman's flag goes up because that's what he's calling for. At the same time, the referee knows what he took the tap at the right place. It's a no-brainer.
Romain Ntamak did all he could. Took him just far enough to get his feet out, then put his arms up saying, "I did nothing, sir."
Smart. Didn't get away with it on that occasion. His Willis takes the ball, and it's a big, strong carry, that is, from the big Englishman. Luku just want to stop Toulouse from scoring before the end of the half, and that would be a fantastic scenario for UBB. Very happy. Goes cross-court. Footballing skills picked up. Of course, it has Matteo Garcia. Garcia with that left foot. Taken well. Everybody's got to put in. The forwards need to just remain focused here because Toulouse, in these situations, they've been hurt, and Dupont goes. Dupont goes on the outside. Watch out for Lebel. And everybody's racing back now. I think everybody's heard each other. They've realised that they've got to fight for this. Oh, Cyril Bay smashed by Douglas. Picked up by Marchand. They're down. Og with his hands on the ball. Poirot trying to get his hands on the ball. Oh, that's a horrible pass. And a great kick there. And that is going all the way up. If it stays in play, which it won't, then it could be a scoring opportunity. Cordero racing up. How about that?
It's breathless. Breathless out there. Doesn't need much of an invitation, Antoine Dupont. And he saw the blind side was on there. He benefited from the fact that Maxime Luku slipped over a little bit. Now going back to look at something here. Might be the Kane Douglas tackle. He hit pretty front on.
Right, so it's a hit coming in from Julien Marchand, the hooker, on Jean-Baptiste Duby, just to see if it was a late hit. Oh.
Well, I think they've thought, well, one front rower, they all look the same, so it's not the hooker. It certainly is Cyril Bay, the prop, but he's been hit quite high from Kane Douglas.
I don't. They're saying that there's nothing illegal here. That they're both going straight into each other. He's going into the left shoulder of Cyril Bay. Douglas probably comes off a little bit worse, but they've got their arms up and they're working. There's a wrap.
Well, for most of rugby's history, there's nothing wrong with this. In the current context, with the focus on safety of the head, the onus is on the tackler to really get himself low enough so he doesn't put the ball carrier in any danger of getting any kind of head contact, whether accidental or otherwise. So he may have dodged a little bullet there, because I have seen tackles like that get cards, whether yellow or red. So it's a little bit of a lottery.
No, you're absolutely right. And, you know, it does come down to the safety of players. That's all that matters. You know, in the modern day, we hear so many stories of players who have been hit and hurt and damaged and struck by concussion and et cetera, et cetera. We know the stories, and, you know, it's all about protection of players.
Certainly didn't worry Cyril Bay, and he got a great offload away too.
He was absolutely fine, was he? But, I mean, you know, he likes that kind of contact, believe me. Wonderful player. Bit scrappy, Dupont trying to get his hands in there, but it's Douglas who's getting in the way. Was that a drop ball? No, it's okay. It's he's so quick, and it's 2 minutes to play. Watch out, Lebel on the outside. Tries to cut inside. That's a good tackle. Good enough tackle coming in from Duby. Willis, the Willis brothers have been outstanding today. Putting in such big hits, working really hard. Here's Richie Arnold going into the zone. Aldegheri nearly drops the ball. Gets a little greeting there from Bento Mifuna. High kick over the top, and the mark's been made. Smashed upfield, and why not? Trouble is, there's a certain Dupont who's back in position. Santi Cordero, pass to Retier, we're into the last minute. Retier gets a break, fantastic running. He's not going to go all alone. Luku catches up with him. It's been picked up. This is Choco Barris now, waits for support. The clear out's been made. They're in a good position here. Now they got an overlap, trying to get the ball out wide. If they can deal with it, they will, but they've got the wrong player. It's Aldegheri. What's he doing over there? Rumat picks it up. Aldegheri again, playing outside centre. There should be a 1 next to the 3. There isn't. Aki, Rumat. Into traffic he goes. Miafu this time. Willis. The Toulouse fans getting well behind the 21-time French champions. Ramos. Here they go again. 15 seconds remaining. And Ogre needs to get out of there. Dupont. Oh, he should have stayed out of there. They got the advantage now, so they got a 3-point penalty. Dupont around the outside. He can't, surely not. Oh, it's Willis in the corner. And a fantastic score there for the Englishman. His 3rd try for Toulouse. Crashing over. Such good work there from Antoine Dupont to just arc around the outside. He sees who's available, and then he dishes out the fine pass to this man, Willis.
Yes, he's been involved in absolutely everything, certainly everything where Toulouse has got points here. The Bordeaux players were complaining about a possible obstruction here, as there's the great run from Retier. But look at that, Aldegheri. He's just been clobbered in a tackle 30 seconds ago, and now he pulls out a trap the ball, and there's the brilliance of Dupont. He took his time at the back of that ruck, no doubt looking to see who the defenders were, not just the number that he had out there, but who they were. Can he get to the outside? He manages to just get outside Jefferson Poirot, enough to interest the outside defender, and over goes Willis, does himself a bit of a mischief, looks like to his hip as he crashes over, but the genius of Dupont.
You know, he susses out the situation way ahead of so many players on the pitch. It's his moment of interpretation. He already basically has a few ideas up his sleeve because he can see who's available as Ramos tries to knock this one over from out wide. And that is a sublime kick as well. And look at that. They now have a 21-17 point advantage. Willis with a little bit of an injury to the hip. But what about that for a first half? We expected fireworks at the stadium. We've definitely got that and a lot more pyrotechnic display from both teams. Let's get a reaction from both sides, hopefully, and get the verdict from Julien Marchand. Yeah, we're in the rhythm, but they're also in the game. We got to fight to the very end. Yeah, there's still another half left of rugby to play.
On l'a dit, beaucoup d'intensité, et on voit que lorsque vous arrivez à toucher les extérieurs, vous avez des opportunités, même si vous avez peut-être moins de ballons en première mi-temps.
C'est ça, en venant ici, on savait que ça allait être très dur.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be very difficult. We need to be even more precise, and hopefully we can get to the finish line. He's outstanding, isn't he, Louis Biarré, because he just doesn't look like too much, but what he has is just a fine skill set. Wonderful wheels, great interpretation, picking up that ball instead of kicking it. Great option.
Yes, he's thrown himself into it in every opportunity he's made count. He scored his own try. He was also prominent in the build-up, of course, to Caleb Timu's try. They have had less possession than Toulouse, but they're still well in this game, Bordeaux, so plenty of positives, plenty of things for them to take out, and plenty of improvement that I'm sure they feel they can make going into the second 40.
21-17, we'll take a break. We'll be back for the second half in a few moments' time. Don't go away. More top Capitals action to come from Toulouse.
as well.
And there's not too much pressure on him to kick for the goals as well, because Maxime Lucu has been kicking well for Union Bordeaux Begles. And it would be interesting to see Dupont and Tamac up against Lucu and Mathieu Jalibert. That's a 5-star lineup in itself in the back line. Here we go, second half. And there you can see Lucu just pulling the ball back so that he can send it into touch. Malia replaces Lebel. Juan Cruz Malia during the Six Nations played, there he is, in the Six Nations played at number 10 for Toulouse. Covered really well as well, though we didn't see too many issues with him playing at fly half. So it was good cover for him to replace Romain Tamac. Of course, they didn't have Ramos, so the two players who are capable of just covering different areas. As we see Willis going on those rampaging runs that we know that he can do so well. Here's Dupont to Richie Arnold. Head down, tries to smash through the thicket. Julien Marchand this time. Tacklers need to get out of there quickly. Dupont, just comes off the chest. An opportunity. Oh, it's been intercepted, but it doesn't matter. Malia won't be able to go with that, because we'll go back to the knock-on off the chest of Richie Arnold.
Yeah, poor old Richie Arnold. Tight forward's nightmare when the backs suddenly change direction, especially on a slippery night where these big men might find it hard to be agile. A couple of phases in a row to lose, and then the entire back line almost started sweeping back round to the right-hand side, and poor old Richie Arnold trying to stay out of the way, cops it. Gets a chance now to maybe help make amends with this powerful Toulouse scrum as they try to disrupt the Bordeaux ball. Bordeaux will really have to be on their game. They've got a scrummage first and foremost. No way the back row can think about an easy one and get off quickly to support the backs, and they've done it well.
Willis, bullet flicked into the hands of Lucu. Oh no, it's just unable to, not picked up there by Duby. And it's a knock-on, and there's Dupont that kicks the ball over the top. There's a bit of pressure here. It bounces kindly for Lucu. He's up against his opposite number, Muafana. What's he going to do? Oh, they're playing risky rugby here. Watch out for Duquan. Bit of a mismatch. Oh, he just cuts in and comes off his feet. They make it safe. Tome Funa. Ruck was formed, need to get your hands out of there. Willis. Oh, it's spillage. And a little mistake there. He saw the giant shadow of Miafu coming towards him. I think he looked up, or he saw him in the corner of his eye. Take your eyes off the ball at that point. That's not good. We'll blame it on the left foot of Gabriel Ogre as well.
He doesn't make mistakes like that very often, Lucu, and neither does Antoine Dupont. He didn't have a winger who'd just gone in the previous phase. He chased up well, and this is beautiful, isn't it, from Bordeaux? A little daring do behind their old goal line, trying to go all the way. And as I say, though, Dupont just oblivious to the fact he'd lost his left winger at that stage. I don't know if it was Malia. I think somebody else had gone in, and the little chip over the top ended up being a little wasted from Dupont.
Platform's been set up for Toulouse. They're in a very comfortable position here deep inside of UBB territory, and they'll get the scrum moving. They're getting the better. Tomafuna comes up. Dupont has got his hands on it. Oh, he does well, Lucu. There's nothing illegal there, but just watch what he's capable of doing. Oh, it's a wild pass. He's got to be careful. Thought he had assistance off his right shoulder. Oh, my word, Ogre steals the ball beautifully for UBB. And there's a smashing clearance kick there from Lucu. How about that? Union Bordeaux Begles getting themselves out of jail.
A little bit of difficulty from Dupont twice there, clearing the ball. Lucu putting good pressure on at the base of the scrum around the Toulouse side. And Dupont not really wanting to take the risk of trying to thread that ball out to his back line. He took it himself, thought he had some players doubling round in support on the outside, ended up doing a little bounce pass to himself, which is a pretty good skill to learn as well. Keeps the defence guessing.
He's just playing with his alter ego. He's been outstanding, hasn't he? Since he linked up with UBB. It's a line-out that's been stolen by Toulouse. Charge from Chocobares, the Argentinian, the former Aguares player, is Richie Arnold, runs into a bit of trouble here. Some sturdy defence, that's good work from Kane Douglas, and he's a little bit rusty there. Maybe he's a little bit, I don't know what's wrong with Dupont, but that's a couple of little incidents that haven't really given them the advantage. Douglas did well. High ball over the top, a little bit of a scary scenario. Didn't he do well, Bielbiaré, to just knock it back into touch, but it was a forward pass that came over. In fact, that's the reason why we'll go back for scrum.
Interesting to see the composure now of Antoine Dupont. He's tried a few things, maybe tried a little bit too much. He was involved in everything good that Toulouse did in the first half, and there's no doubt he was told at half-time, you know, you've got to win us this game. You've got to run the ship out there. However, it's possible sometimes to try a little bit too hard. In a situation like this, it's probably up to Intermac to get in and try and offer some support to Antoine Dupont. Try and take the pressure off him so he can just feed it out, get some options outside him. They can take the responsibility of making some decisions so that Dupont doesn't have to do everything.
I think that we've also got Thomas Ramos, who does work, and he does that as well. William Servat watches on from the stands. They used to call him the La Bouche. The Log. It's a great nickname, isn't it? Here we go. Dupont goes out. It gets the ball to Intermac. Bit of space, bit of time. And just sticks it up into UBB territory. Quine with his clearance kick.
Yes, La Bouche. Of course, just with the U rather than an OU.
Yeah.
Sounds very much like the bush, which was the mouth. Yeah. Old nickname of mine, too. So, unsurprisingly.
Wonder why.
But he was a player, wasn't he, William Servat?
I'm basically one of the Toulouse legends who picked up so many trophies, you know, in the start of the millennium, right going through until he retired. What, about 2014, 15, I think. Now part of the French team setup. Miafu, wow, like a raging bull, head down. Oh, it's a good skill set that was, just to kick the ball. It's on the ground, try and take advantage of it. Here's Marchand. Marchand spills the ball, it's been stolen. And they don't exploit the advantage that they had.
Oh, that was exceptional from Dupont, wasn't it? He's had his challenging moments at the start of this second half, but just to pounce on that ball on the ground quickly, realise he's not going to get down to it with his hands quick enough, and just flicking it on, but not flicking it on too hard to make it unplayable, uncatchable.
It's a deft touch. You know, when you've got the skill set, you've got everything. And Dupont's like that. Ramos's footballing skills, of course, we saw that as well. You know, when Toulouse were playing in against the Sharks, incredible, just incredible. These guys have got a full set, and they actually play with the football. They actually train with the football, which is not uncommon for rugby players, just to enhance the skill set.
No, definitely not in countries where football is so strong.
Yeah.
Remember going and playing against Argentinian teams over there and going along for a barbecue on a Sunday, and it didn't matter whether they were the loose head prop, through to the fullback, whatever. All these big rugby units over there had the most deft touches playing football. They'd get out and have a quick game in the afternoon, and they've just all got the skill and the awareness. It's kind of bred into them.
It's just in their DNA.
Yeah. And then they go and turn around and scrummage like they do as well. The Argentinians go, geez, is there something you can't do?
Yeah, that's true. Multi-talented, the Argentinians, we love them for what they do. And, you know, it'd be great to see them one day get into a final, you know, World Cup final. Can you imagine? Because they've produced some really impressive, you know, results over the years on the big stage, and It would be wonderful to see them get into a final.
Lovely to think they might be able to host or co-host a World Cup too.
Absolutely.
At some point. We see it going to the United States, but the Americas in general.
Big time. Dupont gets the ball out. Inside charge there coming from Choco Barres. Talking of Argentina. Here's Dupont again. Here's Ntemak. Ntemak gets the ball out. Crow takes it forward, but runs into a little bit of a sturdy defence. It's been knocked forward, and it's a stolen ball. Can they do something with it? Here's Timu. Comes off the ankle of Moefama, and they will get the put in. And again, we see the little mistakes just eking into their game under a little bit of pressure. Got to tip our hats to the UBB defence as we see a few changes in the front row. Full, complete change in the front row. And we have that man, Jandre Marais, the South African, who's going to come on potentially for Cyril Cazot.
Couple of good phases of go forward ball and nice little skill there. I think that was Crow who just had to backpedal a little bit. The pressure going on Dupont, and he won't be liking that at all.
Jefferson Poirot, there you go, replaced by Lexo Kolashvili, the Georgian, and Maxime Lamotte replaces Og. Kubias, 40 this year, the Moldovan, replacing Big Ben Tomifuna. And Marais does come on for Cazot. Penalty. And the first scrum for the new boys. Wow, that's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, they'll take that. The cavalry that's just come clattering onto the field. Now they get to show their multi-skills as well by lifting one of their big teammates up in the line-out. Easy on a slippery ground, of course, to overextend. Well, that wasn't the case there, but the referee deeming that was Bordeaux's, Toulouse's fault. Bordeaux earned the penalty and slowly get out of their own half.
Aldegari under a little bit of pressure. Mother's from Verona. Of course, that's where Romeo and Juliet comes from. No serenading for him on the pitch tonight. It's all about fronting up and being pretty hard. Dupont tries to wriggle his way through the keyholes. Marchand, Roumat, that's good passing, that is. And Willis goes again, shrugging off that little injury when he went over at the end of the first half. Douglas is trying to get himself in there. He finally makes a... Ball goes backwards, so there's no... that's a turnover ball, surely. Oh, Douglas going in so vociferously. And there's a ball picked up. Turned around, had a bit of a dance, then went to the ground. Richie Arnold. Oof. A lot of pick and go, and Toulouse trying to use the human battering rams to try and steamroll this UBB defense, but they're holding up very well. It's only a 4-point game, remember, and we haven't had points scored. With Ntemak kicks it very high indeed. That's a great kick, but the mark's been made, and Aki slightly late there. Slightly late. I think he was still in the air when he got hit, but it was very marginal. What do you think?
Well, I think the referee will be saying that he was able to... Oh, it doesn't look like the mark was called. Yes, he's put his arm up. I don't know if you still have to call a mark these days. And he was barely down on the ground. It does beg the question, though, you know, if it was enough for a penalty, should it have been a card? Or...
No, but that is a card offence.
Well, he's changed to a penalty. Toulouse tried to charge that down, which they would have been able to do for an indirect penalty for a free kick.
But that's dangerous. It's dangerous when you're not got your feet on the ground and you're coming down awkwardly. Anything could potentially happen.
As I say, you know, I'm not trying to persecute anyone, but if it's enough for a penalty, you'd think it was potentially enough for a card anyway.
Tell it like it is, but it's okay. That's what we're here for. Here we go. High ball taken well, Ramos. Here come the big boys. That's great work from Willis, just holding him up, and that might be a turnover ball. That might be Union Bordeaux Begles who get possession. They are so unfortunate on that occasion. Very unfortunate. Didn't Ramos do well? I think they'll feel a little bit empty-handed shortchanged from that good bit of pressure from UBB.
Well, that's one of those quirky little rules. Because this was taken from a kick, even though this turned into a maul, and normally it's Toulouse's responsibility to get that ball out, because it came from a kick, that rule doesn't apply.
But they've been driven back as well. Massive pressure. Hugo Mola, big pressure situation. As it stands, UBB have a losing bonus points from this, but they want more. And they got someone who's going to come on pretty soon, who's going to change things around a little bit. Penalty, and it's the front row now. You can see it's on that far side. It's Kolashvili who just gets driven down by Aldegheri, who gets one back. Just got to remind some of those forwards, just replace your divots, please. Big pressure going on Kolashvili. Well, someone coming on who's very, very physical, very talented, and very quick as well. Mamadou Diaby, 4 tries this season for Union Bordeaux Begles. He'll just come into that back row. I think he might replace Pierre Boucheton, be the ideal player to come in and just add a little bit of swagger to this UBB back line. It's a line out that's been picked up here. Willis does well. Luku gets the ball back. Garcia, little change of direction. 50-22 doesn't happen. That would have been helpful for UBB. But they do get possession back. Here they go once again. Garcia sends one up. Duquan tries to take it. Oh, he's miles away from Ramos, who does an imperious job in the air. Dupont. Good passing. Peter Aki this time. Off his right foot. Oh, it just gets the better. Under it. Are they calling that a knock-on? But he was facing backwards.
That's inexplicable. He was under significant.
Well, unless I saw something. I mean, that went backwards.
The ball hasn't travelled forward at all there.
That's going backwards. He's going backwards.
I mean, the only thing I could think was in relation to his body, it was still forward. So does the opposite apply for when the ball leaves, goes backwards out of the hands, but momentum takes it forward? But I wouldn't have thought so.
I think Mathieu Jalabert is about to potentially go on.
Well, Tina's gone off, and that's, look, he's a bit of a game breaker. I'm a bit surprised at that. Like you, I thought Boucheton might have been the one to go.
Yeah, me too. Movaka comes on for Marchand. Marchand's return to action, greatly appreciated. Pierre Vaca replaces Marchand, French international hooker. And yeah, Timu replaced by Diaby. Give him a breather, Timu. Maybe he'll come back on a bit later on. I'm sure that'll be the case. But as it stands, notes still being taken by William Servet. So that, or he's found an interesting film on his telephone to watch.
He found something amusing, unless it was his own handwriting. It's checking on something.
Maybe 1995 semi-final of the Rugby World Cup, maybe.
He wouldn't have found that amusing.
Toulouse win the penalty. Just coming in from the side there. Marais penalised. What they do? They go for the sticks. Or stick it in the corner. Tell you points.
I think they'll go scrum, won't they? 24, yeah, 7-point gap doesn't really add much for them. No, they're going to take a tap. I think see a lot of teams doing that more and more. But old school, but
they got something going on here, haven't they? Look, watch out. Watch out for Miafu. Oh, Movaka. Here he is, Miafu goes again. That's a good little, it's a little tap pass, but it doesn't come off. And it was meant to go to Malia, but nothing's really coming off perfectly, is it, for Toulouse in the back line? They're still winning, they're still getting tries, but it's coming from individual exploits rather than things that are really functioning between the players.
Well, that was pretty close to coming off. It's just Ramos, he didn't know that Ntamak was going to flick it on like that. And as he's mentioned before, Robbie, there's Jalibert coming on.
Wonderful fly half, French international. And great to see him back, shaking off that ankle injury that's plagued him for the past few months. And this is a welcome return for him. It's not just any old game that he's coming on for, of course. And we got changes. Bai goes off, and you can see Aldegheri as well. And there's Netty and David Enu, the American tight head. And Jan Lescourt coming on as well to replace Luku. And Deporter on for Duby as well. Sorry, Luku's staying on. Rightfully so. You want to keep Luku on the pitch, just for what he brings to the game. He can play in different positions as well, but you want to keep him on at 9. Line out 1. Netty to Movaka. Look at this, Antoine Dupont, he's going all the way. That is extraordinary running from Antoine Dupont. How about that? It's a one-man show. We thought it was going to be a team performance, but that is just out of this world. He is just the best number 9 in the world. He is extraordinary. Antoine Dupont time continues. Out of the blue.
Well, the speed of him to go, 40 metres, and also the timing to stay hidden as they swung round from that line out to Toulouse. It looked for all money like they were going to go a little bit wider. He just bides his time, waits, and then chops inside, and away he goes into that gap and accelerates. And the hurdle at the end, Paris, of course, hosting the Olympics next year. I don't think he'll get a run in the 110 hurdles, but just from a one-off, that was pretty special at the end. Sometimes that's all you need to do as a coach, isn't it? That knowing, look, the amount of time you work on some of these moves at training, to see it come off from set phase like that is reasonably rare and incredibly rewarding.
You know, as an All Black, you see all of these moves that are just so natural, and the positioning and the running lines. You know, we don't see that everywhere around the world, but when we see Antoine Dupont on the pitch, it happens around him naturally.
Well, like I say, the timing, and it's a lot of the time it's patience. When you talk about timing, just the confidence to wait, and just as the player who's distributing is about to get tackled, and that's when Dupont went, and it was just absolutely perfect. He'd been discounted by the defence.
Picked up by Willis. They got a 28-17 lead now, and it's pretty strong. They're in a very good place here, Toulouse. It's up to Bordeaux to try and get some points back. They haven't scored in the second half. Jalibert. First little dance up to the halfway line. Luku. Kobilas. A little bit of juggling. Show off a varied skill set. Jalibert. Bielberet around the outside. Dupont just brings him down. Oh, that's just fantastic work from Miafu, pouncing on the ball. Here they go, Ramos, this is Toulouse, and they're coming to the fore now. Aki chips the ball over, and Tamak goes racing for it. Malia's there as well, and it just Goes out over the line. I think it will be UBB who'll pick up possession. Kick was sublime from Aki.
Yes, and it went back to the Toulouse forwards, sensing weakness over that far side with the clean out. Biel-Biarré, who came off just on the outside of Jalibert, got himself tackled, and then it was just a couple of backs going in on the clean, and Miafu and a couple of mates got in there and made the turnover. Good presence of mind and excellent execution.
Maxime Lamotte. There it is, taken, snatched out of the sky, made safe for the moment. Lamotte, Luku, Kobilas. Give it to the Moldovan. He'll drill holes in any defense. And finally, the clearance kick from Luku. A good racing there from Lesgour, who's playing out on the wing. Little change in position. He's a number 9, a natural number 9, of course. Had a scooter accident, which basically kept him out of action until he was on the cusp of coming on against Lyon a couple of fortnights ago. Finally didn't come on, but we knew that he was fit, so today's the day. Driving maul from Toulouse. Try and push them away. It's been picked up. Dupont goes again. And the attempt to try and get the ball out by Choco Barras doesn't happen. Dupont. Richie Arnold. Dupont, chip over the chop. It's a dangerous one. Who's there to pick it up? Oh, Romain Ntamack in the hands. Needs a bit of support now. He's been smothered. And they flew in to pounce on Ntamack, and they will get a penalty. And that's Biel-Biarré, I think, who will get carded for smothering a tackled player and just diving down to the ground. Bit harsh.
Well, my first thought was that Toulouse was getting penalised there for sealing off, because Bordeaux looked like they'd got a little bit of cover defence back in front of the ball. It was a beautiful kick. Was called by Ntamack, and Dupont responded. Perfect waiting and a great chase through a brave take from Romain Ntamack. And there it seemed like, I'm not sure what Biel-Biarré could have done differently, but he was hanging on there to stay in that area. So possibly could have gone either way.
No, it could have gone either way. You're absolutely right. I think I saw his right arm that was basically holding Ntamack's arm to try and not make it presentable. And I think that was probably what he got picked up by. It doesn't matter. We've gone past that now. The points are good. The Toulouse fans having a nice little moment here as, well, Julien Lair, Fred Charrier, they watch on, and they're obviously a little bit concerned because the scenario is... well, it's been turned around in the last 5 minutes because points are starting to go up onto the board for Toulouse. They're showing us what they're capable of doing, and they're only 15 minutes away from booking their spot directly, a direct spot in the semi-finals of the top 14 in San Sebastian. They'll move above La Rochelle, and they'll be one of the 2 teams who will be skip the playoffs and go straight to the semis. A lot of responsibility today for Antoine Dupont. On occasions, we just thought, well, he's just getting caught out. Is it a game that he's, maybe wants to take a breather? And then all of a sudden, he produces that mazy, fantastic, incredible run that results in that try. Good pass from Mo Vaca, and then afterwards, we see what he does with the kick over the top. Kulashvili, David Enu. Brennan comes on from Miafu. Retier does well. Retier does very well. Straight up the middle. Chip over the top. He just gets snagged. There's not much going on. Jalibert trying to catch up and bring down Ntamak. French teammate, of course, Ramos. And, oh, there he goes again. Look at that kick. No, surely not. Deporter. Cordero. Picked up by Dupont. He's absolutely everywhere. 50-22, Ramos. Oh, that's going to be a 50-22. Just look at that. That is absolutely spot on. I wouldn't like to play him on the golf course either.
Well, between those three French internationals, Ntamak, Dupont and Ramos, they've just sent Bordeaux scurrying everywhere, haven't they? Can't cover everywhere, it seems, and this was a great kick following up on Dupont's near miss. But you see Dupont, how often he gets himself in position to receive that ball again. It's just the reading of the game. He gets himself in the right position. He senses the flow of the game and anticipates so well, and that's why he's so often there. Not just himself, but marshalling the others around to be organised.
Line out perfectly executed as well. Roumat into the hands of that man, Placine. Brennan picks it up, straightens up. David Enu just behind him, the American tight head. Charge this time. Dupont. It's gone forward. And Bordeaux will get possession. And the scrum.
Well, they've barely been out of the Bordeaux half in the second 40 as Miafu got his own variety of Bordeaux there. Out it comes. It's been a tough and willing battle up front. Toulouse, has probably edged it, obviously with the bulk of players and the quality they can bring on, but the likes of Kane Douglas throwing himself around everywhere has certainly been plucky. Dupont's had a bit of a mixed bag, we know that, but that sometimes happens when you've got such a crucial player who's involved in everything and who's trying so much. And when he's been good tonight, he has been exceptional.
And you know, you're only human. You do make mistakes, but when you actually put it into perspective and you see everything that he's done, they're affordable mistakes because he was going forward. You know, there's no defensive error that ends in 7 points or anything like that. Yeah, that's a lot of claret, isn't it?
Oh, his net contribution to Toulouse's effort tonight has been well in the positive.
There you go, boot to the head. He's as hard as nails, he'll be fine. There's something that they want to do from this scrum, and that is get rid of it as quickly as possible. Ramos. Peteraki. Oh, there's Elstad. This is much better. Diaby hitting Malia. Dupont goes blindside. Was that forward? It looked like it was a little bit forward, but there's a knock on there from Beauchaton. Now they've got an attacking threat. Kicks. Oh, there's Kane Douglas. Laurent Marty, Didier Lacroix, the two presidents watching on. Yeah, he's a little bit more nervous, I get the impression, Laurent Marty, the Bordeaux president. When you look at the games they've got to play Pau at home. They'll fancy their chances down at Chaban-Delmas. But then we talk about Toulon away. And it might just come down to, you know, a point here could probably be super precious.
Well, it'll feel a lot better if they do win against Pau at home next week, because Toulon's got a slightly more difficult assignment going away to Racing up in Paris. So there'll be plenty of Bordeaux support for the Racing men.
Perfectly taken there by Alexandre Roumat, the former Bordelais. And this is the driving maul that we've seen that's been so effective. Movaka trying to make that ball available. He is driven out over the paint. It's good defensive play from Bordeaux. They needed to save themselves on that occasion. And it'll be a line out for the visitors.
Monsieur, vous êtes relayeur? Merci.
Goes over the top. Willis picks it up. Just chucking off Joshua Brennan. And Luku doesn't find touch. Picks up. Malia. Well, look at this. He straightens up. Retier has got some speed. He's got the wheels going now, and Tamac just knocks down Jalibez. Jalibez in a lot of pain, and that's not looking good. He's down with a thigh injury, it looks like, as Dupont picks it up, tries to get the ball out, comes off a player. They're in possession, and they've regained possession. Still, Union Bordeaux Begles. And he's getting, still getting treatment, which is not good. It's not good for anybody, in fact. Union Bordeaux Begles from the start, and then afterwards the French team, of course. He is deemed as the #2 French fly half. It's just above his left knee. It's not the ankle, which is a great thing, but a lot of pain. He got mowed down by Ntamak. Just want to know what part of it. There wasn't any contact. It was more of a twist, wasn't it?
Yeah, so let's hope it's not something internal in his knee. Muscularly, obviously, can get through. Some pain there.
Oh, he's holding his right hand. Okay.
Well, makes sense that they were checking his left leg then. Is that pressure points?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. No, do you know your shiatsu? Okay, so it was Ntamac's. I think his hand was down on his thigh. That's my excuse anyway. I'm trying to get out of this. Hope that he's okay. They need him. Ntamac. A little bit forward.
Sorry. Three experts, all the two of us and the referee. The most crucial one blew his whistle. It was. Well, I can't believe the intensity that Bordeaux is still bringing on defence. They've been on the back foot the whole second half and most of the first half. But the bench has come on with energy. Diaby particularly, they've kept putting pressure on this man who is finally getting to finish his shift, which has been at times extraordinary. But Bordeaux has kept bringing it. Diaby's come on and had a huge hit on Malia before as well.
What an ovation. They chant his name. They love him to bits. Former Castres, of course, from Osh originally. Humble as can be. And what a great ambassador for French rugby he is. Horrible player to play against. Multi-talented. Skills galore, and a nice guy as well.
And heavily involved. I mean, I know the halfback's always going to be involved in tries, you'd think somewhere, but heavily involved in all of Toulouse's 4 tries tonight. They're not desperate for the bonus point. If they score one more, I'm sure it would be nice to cap off their evening, but 4 points still enough to get them up ahead of La Rochelle at the moment.
As it stands, they're in a pretty good place, but those 4 points will take them to the top and to San Sebastian, the Basque Country, in mid-June.
50-22.
Big kick, that is. Hey, 2 tries and they're back in business, but more importantly, they get their 15th player back on the pitch in a moment, Louis Biel-Biarret.
Well, that's a 60-22, really. He was behind his own 10-metre line.
What does that give him?
Well, I don't know. It should be something. Give them another 10 metres towards the goal line. It's a very rare excursion that Bordeaux is experiencing now into the Toulouse 22 in the second half.
Now, what happens from this line out? Got to get it right. Well, Marais, and let's see where the players are. Driving maul. They're very strong, the Union Bordeaux Begles pack. It goes down. Maxime Lamotte. Use the forwards, get the forwards back up. That's low chopping that is coming from Brennan. The ball does come out finally. Great acceleration into the Toulouse defense from Moufar. Players flying in. Got pushed, apparently. Was that Marais pushing Moufar? I don't know, but in any case, can't push a player into the contact area. Oh no. UBB need to watch out. It's Aki. Crow. Brennan. 5 minutes to play. Well, that's a great chance to strip. And that's UBB who've stolen the ball. They're playing the ball on the ground. That's very illegal. And Toulouse get away with murder there. That's not a great kick, but it's a kick that finds Placine. Chocobares, Crow, Roumat. A little bit of space that's opening up. Beautiful play. Retier is so dangerous. That's been stolen. Deportier tries to get rid of Ramos. Gets the ball out. That's very, very good passing. And look at that. That's still in play. Race. Oh, that was so unlucky.
It was not far off being an 80-22. As you say, a little bit of the rub of the green here for Toulouse a couple of times, but the acceleration from Retier. Luku a bit unlucky just before. He got his hand into the tackle and looked like he'd forced a Toulouse knock-on, but Bordeaux scrambling well to have their second rare foray into Toulouse half of the last 2 or 3 minutes, as Ntamak also gets to go and have a slightly earlier shower.
Go and have a break. Deserve it.
He was just starting to take a little bit more responsibility, like we saw from the quick tap, but from the penalty because of Dupont's absence.
4 minutes remaining. Mouvaka arcs around the defense and then goes head down. Is Elstad. Well, you can go for that, and there's a chance. Maxime Lecu, he doesn't have many options there, especially when you've got a player like Brennan swinging him around like a rag doll. Charge this time coming in from Tumu. Garcia's obviously back on for Jalibert. Counter-rucking. Needs to get out of there. Placine. Ligorge. Kane Douglas to Douglas is off. Has he got any support? Lamotte. And I think we're going to go back. Unfortunately, there was an infringement. Oh, that would have been absolutely sublime there from the replacement hooker. I love it when he starts to run off. Those little feet as he pitter-patters away, but such great pace.
He might have cannonballed from about 30 metres out and slid all the way across the line. That's a shame. There must have been some sort of obstruction here. Well, the referee's saying that he got in the way, but I'm not so sure there. I think Douglas was through. It was great to see the big man getting to stretch his legs because he's been absolutely tireless without the ball tonight, cleaning out. You see that? I'm not going to find the right descriptive word for that here, but anyway, we've seen it everywhere. Breakdown after breakdown tonight from Kane Douglas, and what a shame that was spoiled. Not of his own doing.
2 minutes remaining here. This top 14 encounter, this big battle between Toulouse and Union Bordeaux Begles. UBB coming here to get points. For the moment, they don't have anything. Defense has been rip-roaring. Very strong indeed. Garcia makes a break. Oh, he just gives the ball to Placine. Got to watch out. He's very fast and very swift as the ball gets kicked up. Labelle Watch out for Retier. Now watch out for Deporter as well. He's got some pace. He's a big guy as well. Gets past his first man. And he runs into Movaka off his feet, trying to dig for the ball. Doesn't happen. Forwards pick it up. Kolashvili. Brennan goes low. Not keeping possession is basically, they're just throwing in the towel. Got to play it. Matteo Garcia sticks it up the other end. Get another try, get a bonus point. Cordero knocks the ball down. 30 seconds left to play. They got a penalty, and they'll probably just stick it down in the corner and see what they can do.
Well, the Bordeaux players are pretty tired and can understand sometimes why that decision comes into a player's head. Luku kicking the ball away, but that's what Toulouse has wanted all night. They love the ball getting kicked down their throat. You saw how quickly they got the numbers back to try and counter-attack.
Well, this win today will take them up to 75 points. They move above La Rochelle, provisionally losing their position after La Rochelle's win down in Marseille. The final buzzer is gone. They've got another line out to try and get that fifth try, get the bonus point. Doesn't really matter now. 2 games to play and they know that it's done. They'll sign off after round 24, knowing they're going to San Sebastian. Movaka picks it up. Placine. Good line from Placine. A lot of collateral damage. Brennan this time makes it available. Grau's doing well. Ramos dodges a big firm hit there, and he tries to drop the ball into the hands of Ruma. It doesn't happen, and he goes down and holding his left thigh. But more importantly, what we've seen today, he's going to be fine, I'm sure. It's just a bit of a dead leg. Hopefully it's not serious. The head and the hands should be okay. Fatigue is probably running through his body at the same time. But how about that for a performance? They turned it on in the second half, leading 21-17. And that was the moment he just ran into Luku. And we'll get the lay down on Thomas Ramos in a couple of moments. But here at the stadium, big victory for Toulouse. And hopefully it won't be hampered by a couple of the injuries that we've actually seen. But what a performance. The final score here at the stadium, Toulouse 31, Bordeaux Begles 17.
Romain, vous êtes en demi-finale. Une réaction d'abord.
Yeah, very happy. So we've made the semi-finals. We wanted to quick recover, move on from last week's semi-finals and try and play with cohesion and just fight valiantly and play well against this good UBB team. Collectively, we found each other tonight. It wasn't amazing first, but we found each other. Yeah, we were down in the dumps at the start of the week. We had to shift our attention, digest what had happened in Dublin, and it's not easy, and we didn't expect it. So, but we're professionals, and we had to refocus, and today just to have qualified for the semi-finals automatically is a fantastic feat, so we're very happy. Yeah, they scored a good try. We looked too easy, and we saw in the first half that they could score tries quite easily, so we had to tighten things up. And we put together a strong defense, and in the second half we were stronger and a lot better in the second half, and we held fort right through until the final whistle. Good performance from Romain Ntamak, but look at these two. Antoine Dupont, what an incredible player. What a great performance from a player who he made mistakes, just showing us that he's only human, but what a game.
Yes, absolutely, and to turn around after the disappointment of, you know, what was a huge game last weekend, a European semi-final. You know, I think Toulouse, it wasn't perfect by any stretch, but they'll be really, really happy to have got through it and have got up as a group, like Romain Ntamak was saying. So, you know, to see the brilliance that they were able to put back out after investing so much mental energy into that game last week, and then to come back in front of their home crowd, obviously disappointed throughout the week, but to perform like that and to score tries like they did, there was brilliance, there were mistakes, but more importantly, there was the brilliance, and I think that was great for them.
I think so all of their main players, they could probably rest for about 3 weeks, because they qualified for the semi-finals already. They missed the playoffs. They don't have to play the last 2 games, so it basically means that players can actually recuperate. You want players to have game time, don't get me wrong, but you've also got players who, you know, if they got something that they want to, you know, get rid of and they want to fine-tune themselves, I mean, bring it on, because this is the last competition they got left to play. Whereas La Rochelle will be in a different situation, knowing that they're pretty much qualified, but they've still got European action to play, and they'll want to put in, they have to play their last game as well, the penultimate game. It'll just get a point, and then they can just, you know, to ease off a little bit.
Yes, Toulouse certainly has the luxury of being able to manage things how they want, manage players' time how they want over the next few weeks. You don't want to give players, and they don't want it themselves, too much time and then come into a semi-finals underdone. So they still need to have, you know, hard matches at times and time on the field, but they can certainly manage it now without worrying and having to look behind them.
Well, you had likes of Thibaut Flamand, who's you know, not playing today because he's out injured, and you've got these key players, of course, who are out injured, and you want them back and you want them to be fit, but yeah, of course, they're going to use this time very, very carefully to make sure that they put together the perfect team to enter those the very important semi-finals in San Sebastian, because they are literally now just. Well, they're just 160 minutes away from lifting the Brenner Shield.
Well, particularly a guy like Dupont, who is going to be crucial to France's hopes later in the year as well. So there'll be, you know, obviously pressure on from the national staff to manage him as well. Clearly, he's going to have to play a crucial role in a semi-final and potentially final. But being able to manage his time up to that point will be good, you know, good opportunity over the next few weeks.
Yeah, and of course, you know, France will have. You know, matches to play. There'll be pre-Rugby World Cup matches. In fact, the Top 14 starts. There's 2 rounds of Top 14 rugby action before the Rugby World Cup. So I think it's literally the 26th, and then the 19th of August, and then the 26th of August, and then afterwards it's the Rugby World Cup that starts, I think, on Friday the 6th of September. So I mean, there's going to be games that are going to be played in July as well, you know, and the build-up, and in August, especially August. So there's not much time between. So whatever rest you can get is obviously going to be greatly appreciated, because it's been a very, very long season, and next season it's going to be even longer.
That's right. France has got home and away preparation games against Scotland as well. Plenty of internationals going on around that time. So plenty of rugby, and you know, Top 14 having to fit itself around the Rugby World Cup. It's probably not a good thing for them to do, but they've got to do it.
C'est from Maxime Lecou.
En revanche, en deuxième période, 0 pointé et ça a été compliqué.
Ouais, ça a été compliqué.
Yeah, complicated in the second half. Yeah, we gave a lot of energy in the first half. And our errors and how we managed to get rid of the ball from our own half. But there's some good things that we produced. We got a little bit tired on the hour mark. And we saw that, you know, they started to find scoring opportunities, but it is what it is.
2 victoires et vous serez en phase finale.
Exactement.
Yeah.
On le savait que, voilà,
2 wins in our last 2 games, and we qualify for the playoffs. We've got to fight until the very end. We got to win our game at against Pau at home, and then beat Toulon away. So it's in our hands. So our objective since the start of the season is to obviously make the playoffs. Laurent Marty itching to get his team into the playoffs. That's what they're after. That's what they're trying to go for. It would be a great success story for Union Bordeaux Begles, having lost their coach mid-November, and then with the interim pairing of Julien Lerle and Fred Charrier coming in. Let's just have a look at the tries. Well, there you have it. It's 4 tries to 2. Miafou, Matt Willis, and Dupont, Pierre Biarret and Timu scoring, but they didn't score any tries in the second half. They didn't score any points in the second half.
No, but they'll take a lot of encouragement from the fact that they kept what was a rampant and motivated to play Toulouse team scoreless for the last 20 minutes. And, it was a tough match. It was a brutal, physical match, but Bordeaux's defence still stood strong. So for what's to come for them, I think going away to Toulouse here and putting in that sort of a performance, and Toulouse did not canter away with it like they may have against other teams quite easily. I think Bordeaux will take a lot from that game. Disappointed with the result, yes, but confident about what's to come and that the destiny's in their own hands.
31-17 the final score, and as you can see, the penalty count was very low for Toulouse, very high for Union Bordeaux Begles. They paid the price, and but there's also some wonderful rugby that was played in the kicking game as well. Toulouse, they threw everything at them. They found some marvellous moments. We hope that Ramos and Jalibert are going to be okay. Let's have a look at this try from Dupont. Look at him, racing, amazing, and just dancing his way between defenders, accelerating away and scoring that wonderful individual score after taking that pass from Movaka.
Oh, he showed everything there, timing, which we'll see again now. He just sort of drifts across. And at the last moment when the tackler's committed, that's when he chops inside and goes. Then the acceleration, plus the presence of mind that he always has. He's aware of his surroundings, even when he's putting his head down, going as fast as he can, and he knew that he needed a little bit of a hurdle. That man we just saw, Kane Douglas, had a big game. Ramos got plenty of work as well. He got the ball kicked down his throat a lot, had to marshal the counter-attacks coming back for Toulouse, but they got a glut of possession, Toulouse.
Well, and Ramos seems to be okay. I think he just got a bit of a knock to the leg. He's back up on his feet. That's it from myself and Andrew Mertens. Thanks very much. We'll see you very soon. Of course, there's more Top 14 rugby coming up very soon, but that's round 24. How exciting was that? Toulouse take the honours. Union Bordeaux Begles know that they've got to win their final 2 games. We'll bid you a fine soiree, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.